Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Kayla Natural B. I am the founder of the Beebodi Marketplace, and you are in for a treat. Welcome to the Wellness Workplace Workshop. These are practical tips, basic one on one things to know about having a healthy environment so that you can have a successful workday and work lifestyle. This is so key that you are here tonight, here today, tuning in the replay, wherever you are, because a lot of people don't consider wellness to be an integral part of their work life. In fact, they tend to leave it out. But I want you to include it from today on like never before. So, thank you for joining us where we treat, support, and invigorate our human bodies. Kudos to you for showing up, tuning in, carving out time for this, especially during the holiday seasons where you could be doing anything like shopping, spending time with family. You see the importance of this message, and it is indeed important. Kudos to you also for connecting with us. Our network can be found on beebodi.com, Beebodi, or also on Instagram as well as Facebook. We're on Pinterest, and we have a podcast called the Beebodi Talks Podcast on Spotify. So, all great places to tune in, to connect, and to find us. So, thank you for being a part of our community. We don't take it lightly. So tonight I will be sharing with you a presentation, and I'll also be demonstrating some things that you can apply to your work life, your work day. If there aren't any questions, then let's begin. So I want you to start by identifying yourself. You can do this by reflecting, thinking. You can do this by writing it down. You can jot this in your notes section of that device you're holding, or move a window over on your computer and jot down your identification. There's so many ways to identify yourself, but in this space, I want you to identify yourself as all of the things. Who are you? You're a human, first of all, but maybe you are a dad. Maybe you're a mom. You could be a sister. Maybe you're a teacher, mentor in the community. Maybe you're very active in your church or faith-based center. Write all of that down. Consider it for a moment. Tonight is called the balancing act. And sometimes life can feel like a full production, can't it? Where you're juggling all these many things, and it can become overwhelming, exhausting, tiring. And for some reason, we let the work slide. No matter what, the work stays number one because why? We've got to pay bills, right? However, it shouldn't be that way. It's our health, our personhood, our wellness, our well being that should come first. That is important because, well, without the strength and the health that you need to have a great day, to be prosperous, to be focused, to have clarity, to perform in excellence, then there is no job. So the balancing act is about recognizing all of those things that you're jotting down right now or reflecting on, and finding a way to walk the tightrope some days, but without it feeling stressful. Yes, it's a challenge, but there are ways to overcome these challenges when we tap into health and wellness, practical tips and tools that we will be sharing with you in this workshop. All right. So I hope you've got all your identifiers down. I think you should have at least three. I know for me, I am a human, a person first. I'm also a woman. I identify as she, her, hers, cystic queen, diva, however you want to put it, place it. That says something, and that has and holds weight in society, even the way that people interact with me, right? I'm also a sister. I'm also a cousin. I'm also an auntie. I'm also a doula. I'm also very active in my community. I'm an advocate. I mean, the list goes on. I'm a director, I'm a producer, curator. I am so many things. And oftentimes throughout the day, those parts of me show up. And weesh, I got to take a break. A sister queen has got to give herself a break, or a brother who could be tuning in and being here in support of this workshop, because it also applies to men too. All right, so thinking about that balancing act, hold on to that thought about your normal, typical day. Here we go. Take a look at this image. This is you. This is me. We are spirits. We are energy in physical matter in the form of a body, skin, bones, organs, you name it. But we have magnetic charge. So that means that not only what we think and how we feel is affecting our environment, but it's actually shaping and shifting our environment. That includes our workplace, that includes our work life. How we think about ourselves determines ultimately how we operate. That pattern, that lifestyle, that inner operative has an effect on just about everything: our pace, our rhythm, how we connect to others, how we feel about ourselves, and how we show up in a healthy way. So, oftentimes, if we find ourselves feeling out of sorts, it is because we are disconnected from our physical body and from the metaphysical connection that our body and our mind has to everything around us. Just think back to the first time you felt like you were winning in your life, in your work life, that is. Maybe this was when you got that job that you worked so hard for. Maybe it's when you got that promotion. Maybe it's when you finally said yes and started that business or that project. Maybe it was at the point of a collaboration. Wherever you were, stamped in the timeline of your work life where you were so thrilled and proud and charged, and you wanted everybody on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram to know that you just came up. That's the feeling that you want to ideally have each day. That kind of excitement, that kind of charge, that kind of gusto is important because we are physical entities. It is going to affect us on a hormonal level. So if we're waking up dreading the day, dreading that assignment, feeling exhausted already, maybe even for some people, hating your job. And don't be surprised when I say this, even hating your life. That, without a shadow of a doubt, will steer you further and further away from health, from optimal well-being, and an optimal state of wellness. So yes, your workplace and your work environment and your work lifestyle has an effect, and vice versa, on your very existence here on this planet. So I want to ask you this question: where does workplace wellness live in your life? So let's talk about it. The old ways of thinking is getting up, getting dressed, making breakfast, kissing your loved ones goodbye, getting in that car or sitting on the train or bus or bike, commuting. That's a whole other thing. Reporting to an office, reporting to a setting, being there for maybe about what, 9 to 5, 11 to 3, 7 to 2, however you want to spin it. And then after an exhausting and tiring day, finally clocking out, finally closing everything off, turning the lights off at your desk, closing the door to your office, or shutting it down at the cubicle and doing the whole thing all over again. Transporting yourself through traffic back home just in time to see your kids, maybe kiss them, ask them how was school, or maybe you're off to the gym if you're good, or an activity or a community commitment that you have, and then finally getting home for dinner, or maybe picking up dinner or ordering dinner, and then crashing at the end of the night. Wrongo. That's done with. We are in 2021, y'all. It's time to level up. It's time to see yourself in control and in charge. And even if that doesn't mean actually being able to make your schedule, you have moments in between that we're going to talk about that you can get involved in. And this is the new model. So the new model could be that you're working remotely. It could be that you get a hybrid schedule where you go in sometimes. This new model is where you're a lot more communicative, a lot more open, a lot more vulnerable, transparent, direct, forthcoming with your leadership, or maybe if you're in leadership, you're able to do the same thing for your staff, your support, your employees, colleagues, interns, whatever the situation is. And then it's also about taking breaks, actually taking a break, not just a coffee break where you're sipping and still working or eating that sandwich at your computer trying to knock it out. I'm talking about real breaks. It could be that you actually have a meditation practice or something that is good for your body, like exercise, swimming, group activities, something to physically charge you, yeah, so that you can enjoy your night, actually be present and have a thorough, deep, open, good conversation with your loved ones and enjoy sex. Sex is a very important part of our wellness and maintaining that balancing act of work. When you work hard, you need to release, you need to be loved, you need to be comforted. That helps you with your hormone levels, just in case you didn't know, and it helps you to sleep great, wake up feeling charged, or maybe you're a morning sex person. That is the new model. So, what works for you? We're going to talk about that today as we look inward and speak outward, self assessing your wellness needs for your workplace. And then finally, looking at how you can begin to create a healthy wellness regimen for that work environment, be it an office, a studio, be it you on the go in the car, being it you stopping off here and there, wherever, whatever it is, creating a regimen for yourself that inserts and integrates purposefully wellness. Because here it's all about prevention. We want prevention. We don't want diagnosis that we have to then later receive prescriptions for. We want to prevent and be in an optimal state of wellness so that we can perform. All right. So you may have heard this. I mean, it's one of the oldest phrases out there that life is a movie and you're watching it. Or maybe you are the main actor, or you're the director, or you're the script writer. It's true. And life is like a movie that you get to watch. So I can tell you that I have been watching y'all and I have been seeing the truth. The truth of the fact of the matter is, I mean, people look stunning. The way you do your hair, the way you put on your lipstick, those shoes are fierce. I know you spent time picking out online shopping or at the mall, wherever you got those shoes from, you look good. You look the part. And even when I go on social media, I can tell who's a baddie, who's a boss babe. I can tell who's a handsome groomsman who's put time into his beard and all of these things. But what about your health and wellness? Did you carve out 2 hours like you did for your brows and your lashes and your nails for yourself to do some breathing techniques, to exercise? Did you carve out time to maybe sit down with a professional mental health counselor to talk about what's going on with you in your workspace? Did you do the real soul work? So this is my charge to you. Heal you now. Heal you now and groom you later. This is what the body is saying. This is so important. This is so key. Okay. So in thinking about this old model of wellness as it pertains to the workplace, this has been the old way of thinking. that we have to grind hard, pump now, don't sleep, get it in, go, go, go. You will reap the benefits of it later. Maybe that's what our parents and our grandparents were able to do. But I was watching a really interesting video the other day where they talked about that very fact. For some reason, even though we have access to all of this great healthcare, there's so many wellness options out there, there's so many great nutritional regimens and diets that we can follow, gyms on every block, subscriptions, apps here, all that, we are still, as Americans, primarily obese, unhappy, discouraged, depressed, lost, overworked, exhausted. I mean, the list goes on. How did that happen? Well, productivity is determined by your ability to get the most done in a single day. When you think, how much can I do? How much can I grind? How much can I pump out? Well, then you're going to pump out your energy. And when it comes to the next day, there's nothing left for tomorrow. I have just started to be open and candid with my mom, actually. She would say, "Did you have a productive day?" Now, maybe when I was a little girl, that question might have been active. But now I'm needing something more. Productivity isn't determined by how much I can get done. It's about if I did maybe that just one thing efficiently, proficiently, and I was happy, satisfied, with my not results, with my effort. We've got to be more loving about our approach to effort in a workday, because you're not always going to get that reward. That promotion may not come in a year of hard work. It may come in 2, 3 years. For whatever the case, for whatever the reason, it's important for us to understand that productivity is something to be paced over the course of time, not jammed in a single day. Here's another one. Mindfulness is for after work gym hours. I don't need to be mindful at work. Or exercise and movement is not appropriate in the workplace. Well, I decided to keep my work clothes on so that I can show you some exercises a little later on to prove to you that, in fact, wellness does have a place and is very important in the workspace. It's very necessary. You don't have to be dressed in sweats to connect to mindfulness. We'll talk about it. Last one. Professionalism is determined by your ability to fit in to work culture. Work harder, fit in. Maybe in the 1960s. Any Mad Men fans out there? Yes. Tight pinup skirt, red hot lipstick, typing away with your cute little nails. Not in 2021. Rest assured. There are places, there are ways, there are things, there are programs. In fact, ask your job if they are in partnership with a wellness workplace program. And if they haven't thought about it, now may be the time to do it. It's important to have this either physically on site or maybe every now and then, once a month, once a quarter, end of the year retreats. These are opportunities to connect with each other that we need. That's important. That makes us know that we are valued, not just feel it or just hope for it. It can also dramatically decrease the need for sick days, and it can dramatically decline those super high rates that we pay for health insurance if you just simply have wellness integrated into your work culture. Here's another tip. Will Smith, his Westbrook company, his production company, they actually have a mini sanctuary. So when you go on set, there are these trailers. And the trailers are the green rooms. They're the dressing room, etc. So Will Smith makes sure that his people have a separate trailer just for recreation, a place for them to kick it, a place for them to, they actually have a mini gym, maybe watch a movie or an episode during lunch or something, laugh, Get your dopamine up, get your serotonin in there, get those happy endorphins that you need to get through a good workday. That is a statement about work culture that says we value our people, we know you're human. Hey, take a break, you deserve it. You've been working hard. So I dare disagree with the mindset that it's unprofessional to bring up ideas, especially ideas about health and wellness. Consider it and talk to your leadership. All right, so you got your notepad out, right? Great. Let's take a moment to just reflect on mental health. There's no secret about it that mental health has finally made its debut and come to the forefront of our lives. During the pandemic, everyone discovered just how important, just how necessary it is to take time for a mental health check in. This could be healthy self talk, meditation. If you're advanced, if you're not so advanced, maybe that's journaling or hiring a professional mental health counselor or therapist or psychiatrist or whatever it is your need is. Mental health matters. And mental health will ultimately determine if you look like this guy, breaking and bursting at the seams because you just can't get it together. I mean, who hasn't had a moment where they felt overwhelmed by assignments or calls or emails? Who hasn't had a moment where they're still thinking about work, even when they're at home or getting work calls or work texts, or still trying to solve that problem or figure that client out or get this project underway or make that brilliant idea finally spark in the minds of the people who you're pitching to? That is practically insane. When you don't create boundaries for yourself to say, you know what, my phone's going on silent right now. You know what, it's going on do not disturb while I'm sitting down and having dinner with my family or when I'm looking at a movie with my loved ones. You have got to know the difference between you being ambitious and being fearless and being relentless and going after your dreams and pushing yourself to the point of a break. And sometimes that mental break may turn into a physical break and cause you to become sick. Yes, you can get the flu, you can get pneumonia, you can be bedridden, you can feel weak. People have fainted, people have crashed into trees, crashed into each other from being exhausted, from being tired, from pushing themselves to beyond unhealthy limits. So take a moment. I'll set a timer for 2 minutes to just reflect on your boundaries. I'm going to leave it open. You can decide now to jot down the boundaries that you want to make, you want to create, you want to talk about, or you can jot down those things that you think is starting to push you over the edge that you need to make a decision about. So just reflect about your breaking point for 2 minutes. 1 minute. All right. So here we are. How did it go? Here's a couple more questions for you to consider. I posted this on Instagram in 2019 and in 2020. Here we are, 2021, and I find that this is still very much relevant. It's important to, number one, know your boundaries, consider yourself, have those necessary conversations with leadership, or if you're in leadership, consider your employees, consider your support, and create an environment that is supportive and considerate of one's state of health and wellness. So, first of all, the song that you were just listening to is Anthony and Jill Scott, Anthony Hamilton and Jill Scott, So in Love with You. I want you to be so in love with yourself, your physical body, this thing that carries you, drives you to that job that pays for those bills. Be in love with your temple. Fall in love with your mind. Fall in love with the outcome of living a long, healthy, and fruitful life. Fall in love with that first before you fall in love with anything else, opportunity, promotion, a paycheck. I don't care what it is. Because at the end of the day, I guarantee you that if you are not healthy and well, you will fall into, gosh, none of it will matter. So these are just a few questions to consider. When you are at your desk or you're in that workspace, some of us just work right from our phone. And when our phone goes off, it starts ringing, you start hearing messages, you're getting voicemails, you're getting text messages, pings, it's running off the hook, ringing off the hook. You got your favorite song on the phone playing and you still don't want to hear anything from anybody. That is when you need to check in with your body. We talked about metaphysical energy. Ask yourself, how do you feel? How does your body feel when you're at work? Are you comfortable, calm, relaxed, energized, healthy, happy? Or are you anxious? Are you nervous? Are you on edge? Or do you feel just completely sluggish, like a log, heavy, tired, drained? Answer that question for yourself. All right. Let's go to the next question here. Or more of a finish the phrase statement. I feel the most energized, productive, and ready, just in it, during the day when when I'm taking a break, B, I do not feel very energized during my day, to be honest. In fact, I feel tired and worn out. Or C, when I'm sitting at my desk or work site or in that work zone, getting work done, talking to my colleagues or my boss. Which one is you? Are you the escapist? Are you just overwhelmed? Or are you in it to win it and you're supercharged? Answer this honestly and don't judge yourself. It's important to know where you are in the seasons of your work life because this will change over the course of time. At some point, you may be good, great, or you may just need a break, you need a vacation, or you need to do something different. Whatever the case may be, being honest with yourself and knowing where you stand in your workplace relationship is going to ultimately help you to continue to succeed. Next question. So after work, I most look forward to A, I usually work overtime, extra works, extra work hours, or stay at the office late. Sometimes I take my work home. B, I'm getting home as fast as I can so that I can get to happy hour or go home, unwind, prepare dinner, or just sleep. C, oops, we got a triple A, we got a double A here, but this should be C. Attending to a class is what you do after work or study session. Maybe you're involved in a community meeting, doing some kind of hobby, or spending time with your loved ones or walking your dog. Which one of these are you? Are you like, see you later, get me out of here? Are you more just focused on the other part of your life, that balance act? Or are you pretty energized still? You're involved, you're ready to get back in there, take on something else, and still be good. Which one are you? All right. So the final question for today, what is your work environment actually like? Is it an easygoing but focused one where you're still getting things done, but you feel like you can be yourself? B, it's busy, hectic, stressful. Everyone has something to do all the time. We hardly ever make eye contact. Or C, is your work environment exciting, fun, lighthearted? You know, it's so interesting. When I look at job descriptions, I often see B, where they give you the anticipation to expect to be in stressful environments where there is a demand left and right, where you've got to work long hours, where you've got to work holidays. I firmly believe that we are getting closer and closer to moving away from that and being more honest and open about our humanity in workspaces because, well, it's really not meant for us to be healthy and live a long life if every day is hectic and stressful. Now, if you have a demanding job where you're in leadership or that's just the nature of it, there's no escaping it. So that's why it's important for us to think about those new models of integrating and inserting health and wellness into spaces that are going to support us in that balancing act of it all. If should you take on a job or a role that requires this level of stress, you can still function normally, you can still get through. Okay. So here are a couple archetypes to be able to recognize. I often hear from people, man, I don't know how to take a break. And even if I do have a break, like, what do I do? What is a break? I don't get those. Or, you know what? I'd rather just pound through the day. So here are a couple of archetypes that I want you to be aware of in case it comes up and you recognize it in yourself as to why you're not having the most optimal or healthy kind of work-life pace that you should. Number one, this is the procrastinator. The procrastinator likes to hoard time. This person will push things back, wait to the very last second of a deadline, will stall everybody. Number one, it does a disservice to you, but it also does a disservice to the people that you work with. They could be counting on you to respond sooner, earlier, or on time so that they can add extra elements. So this is important to be considerate because it affects the other people surrounding you when you're not as responsive and when you're a procrastinator. And I know you may be trying to conserve your energy by doing this or calculate things or whatever the excuse is, but it's really, really an ineffective approach to wellness in the workplace. Number two. Number two is especially I see my sisters or even Latinas or Asian women, women of color in particular, being the heroines, I should say, the superhero. This is when you're doing everything for everyone and you're taking on extra responsibilities. You're that person that everybody calls, everybody runs to because you're the Olivia Pope that solves all the problems, and you're just on the phone listening to that draining story that the person needs to vent and get out and share with you because you're so great at this. You can handle anything and everything. But what it's doing to your physical body is weakening it, and it doesn't leave room for you to be as ambitious and present and available to yourself as you need to. So you may just need to, like I said, put your phone on do not disturb, turn that vibration on, say no every now and then, say no to yourself every now and know that you're not meant to be in a workspace to save everyone. You're meant to do your job. Number three is the plower. Now, this is when it's starting to get serious here. We're going from not doing enough to doing it all to doing all and then some. The plower is the workhorse that goes full throttle. You are taking calls, you are answering emails at 2 in the morning. You are saying yes, never saying no, pushing yourself and convincing yourself that that is going to be the key to your success. No, I'm here to tell you, it's not. The key to your success is working smarter, not working harder. Last one here is the zombie. Okay, so the zombie can look like two people. This person could be super wired, drinking tons of coffee. They may even be taking prescription drugs. They may be even taking recreational drugs to stay up, to keep charged, to stay focused, or they are super tired. Hi, how are you? How was your weekend? Oh my gosh, it sounds so. What did you do? Really? We're here to work, aren't we? We're here to get some things done. No one can be perfect. We're all human. We all get tired, trust me. But you can sense when a person is starting to be dysfunctional because it affects your work performance, it affects your ability to connect with others, and it affects your energy. We are energetic beings, we have to remember. So if a person is coming with this dragged out, long-winded, super heavy, groggy, tired, zombie-like energy, majority of the time, you're going to pick that up, and that's going to start to be your story. And we don't want that. So now this is the optimal state of things where we are more healthy on the healthy side of things, the PACE method. This is when you are aware, you know, you see the signs of exhaustion, you see the signs of that zombie-like energy or that vampire-like energy, either in others or in yourself, and you decide that you're going to follow your own flow. You're going to take breaks often. That means getting up out of your chair. That means actually closing your computer. That means actually saying no or just drinking some water. If that means you need to turn an alarm on every 20 minutes, get up, or every hour, go have a water break, or every 2 hours, maybe turn away from your computer screen, whatever the case may be, find a pace that works for you. Number two, Zen. Consider your chi. Active meditation. You can do walking meditation. Did you know that? Yep, that's when maybe you put in your earbuds or your AirPods, or you just zen out for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you can't get 10. do it. It will change the trajectory, change the course of your day. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. There are some companies that are even starting to be great with this, and they're offering nap pods where you can actually take a nap during your lunch break or whenever you need to take a nap. Maybe arrive early if you can, if there's a nap pod or if it's an appropriate space for you, and arrive early to sort of diffuse the energy from traffic and from all the stress of trying to get to work, and relax for about 10-15 minutes in that break room or something. And then just take that moment for yourself to help you to recalibrate and reset yourself for a great work day. Number 3, the big stretch. I like to call this the big stretch. This is when you move your body. Yawning is healthy. Reach, lean, lunge. Your joints will say thank you. We're going to do some exercises that are work appropriate, that don't take up too much space, that aren't invasive of the person next to you if you work in a communal space. It's important to stretch. It's important to get up, move your hips, lunge, move around, you know. Even if you, again, set a timer for 60 seconds, 30 seconds on each side, take a lunge, reach your arms up, roll your head. I'll show you, I'll demonstrate that. Do it. And the last one here is group think. So this is about going against the grain. As you can see, you go from this mindset of achieving your goals to actually thriving in your goals when you carve out time for yourself. Now, groupthink is when you start to get close to excelling. This is when you consider, if you're in leadership, how your employees, your staff and support can benefit from you taking retreats, can benefit from carving out a 30-minute mark in a week where everybody gets together and they participate in some kind of wellness activation, some kind of wellness incentive. This is super important. Again, it shows that you in leadership value your employees. It also shows that you yourself value yourself to take time like this. It's so key. I mean, I have done workshops for WeWork where they brought me in to talk about this, and we've done exercises together. I have spoken to college students about the importance of knowing that when you get into the industry, to take time for yourself, to carve out time for yourself. It is so important that you do this. So consider group think and some kind of activity, exercise, incentive, retreat, something that you can do together. This is also great to do before meetings. Often people say they feel disconnected from their leadership. They feel disconnected from executives. Maybe you all have been working on a project or you're getting ready for a pitch and you still feel like, I'm not really on the same page. If you just take a moment to do a group exercise in the workspace, it will dramatically affect the performance of that pitch, of that presentation, of how you're going to connect with your ideal client. I guarantee you. So consider it. Just a reminder here that your body talks to you. Yes, it talks to you well before anything happens, well before maybe you fall ill or, you fall into seasonal depression or something unfortunate happens. Your body is constantly talking to you. So it's important that you listen. It's important if your knee is bothering you, that may mean you may need to not wear heels that week, or it may mean that you need to sign up for a personal coaching with me or someone that's in your area. It could mean that you need 8 hours of sleep instead of 6 hours of sleep, and you need to go to bed earlier. It could mean that you need to maybe have fruit in the morning instead of a bagel with carbs. It could mean that you need oatmeal with flax seeds instead of a donut and coffee. It could mean that you may need to go for a morning jog or sprint instead of snooze, 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 roll out of the bed, get dressed and go. Remember, you can groom yourself all day, but healing yourself, that starts now. The results come later. So just a reminder there. All right, so let's get into this. Here's our first exercise. So like I said, I'm dressed in my normal attire if I were going to work to show you that this is super accessible and you can do this without bothering anyone. Now, if they hear you breathing, okay, they may think you're a little weird, but they'll get over it because guess what? You're not gonna have a headache. And 9 times out of 10, I find that it's just the newness of a thing that tends to be what turns people off or turns people away. But once you get over the hump of that new thing and you integrate it with practice and repetition, people always stop me. They're like, whoa, that looks so interesting. What are you doing there? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing Tai Chi? Are you meditating? And they want to learn more. So don't be afraid of being different in your workspace if you're around people. Don't be afraid of closing your eyes. Don't be afraid to get into your Zen mode and let everybody else crack their jokes because it's like Lauryn Hill says, first they laugh, then they follow. So try this with me, sitting in your chair, or if you're lying in your bed or wherever you are, tuning in, listening to this. Feel your feet on the floor. Connect your body to your breath by slowing your heart rate down. Breathing itself is a form of exercise. So together, let's exercise our lungs. We're going to take an inhale in, counting to 3. We're going to sustain that breath, not holding it or getting choked up, but just sustain that feeling for about a second and a half, 2 seconds at most. And then we're going to exhale, open your mouth, exhale, release the breath out. And we're going to repeat this for at least 3 times. Here we go. Feeling your feet grounded, your body grounded, connecting to stillness for a moment. Breathe naturally. Alrighty, let's take an inhale into the body. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold that breath at the roof of the mouth, top of the lungs. Open the mouth, release, exhale. Very nice. Inhaling again, taking air into the body. Inhale. Sustain that breath. Make sure that you have space in your jaw. Exhaling out. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that the air comes out of your mouth. It's so important because we hold tension in our jaw, which connects to our neck, which connects to our shoulder, which makes us super tense and tight and causes all those unwanted headaches and body aches. Let's try that again. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. Exhaling out of the mouth. 2, 3. Last time, inhale, take air into the body. Part the lips, open the mouth, and exhale. Good. Very nice. How do you feel? Good. I hope you feel great. So the breathing that we've just done here is accessible to you. And the breathing is the premise. It is the basis of everything that we do in gyrokinesis. So I like to break gyrokinesis down into 2 words so people can understand it. Gyro, think of gyro like gyration movement. And then kinesis comes from kinesiology or kinetic energy. So we're kinetically connecting our breath with movement. And you can only know what gyrokinesis is like and what it's about when you book a session with the Beebodi Marketplace. So you can always visit us online at www.beebodi.com to book a session with me. It can be virtual or in person, and discover the full of what it's like to connect the breath and the body with movement, because these are great things that you can apply to your workday. I mean, I feel better already just taking a moment to slow down and breathe. Giving presentations takes a lot out of you. It can knock the very wind out of your lungs. So breath work is a go-to friend that you can apply throughout your workday. When it comes to breathing, more than 50 million Americans live in urban cities or metropolitan areas, and those metropolitan areas tend to be places where people breathe shallow, right at the surface, because you're exposed to increased temperatures. If it's summertime and it's hot, all those emissions, all the gases, all the air pollution in the air, and in your environment will cause your lungs to tighten up, close, shorten because it's unpleasant. So one doesn't think, okay, I've got to breathe. You're breathing, right? Because you're alive. If you weren't breathing, you wouldn't be alive. Your heart would stop, etc., etc. But people don't pay attention to this small detail, which is huge, that your breathing determines. It can determine your performance, but it's your environment that determines how you're breathing. So I get it. If you're in a city, if you're exposed to smog or air pollution or whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want to take a deep, guzzling gusto of breath as you would if you were somewhere like, say, Sweden or California or the open air in Australia or a beautiful island. I get that. But nevertheless, being at least first mindful and aware and recognizing the signs of shortness of breath, which is typically up here. People breathe shallow. Yeah, they stop it right here at the lungs. But being aware of it is the start. And that could be the reason why you're not in such a great mood, right? It could be the reason. So let's try this exercise. As you can see, this guy has his hand behind his head. He probably just got the email of his life. Yeah, it's been a good day for me. Just got a compliment or something. Either way, he's happy, he's joyful. But this is a form of exercise. When you put your hand behind your head or just below here at the nape of the neck where your hairline just about stops, this is a really good place to be in, hammock. So just move your head side to side. Take a deep breath. From being at the computer or your phone for long periods, hours at a time, the neck gets super tight, and then you can start to become a little bit more rigorous with it. Twisting the head, turning the head from side to side. Notice if there's any tension in the neck here. Notice if there's any resistance here. Okay, very nice. So this is from gyrokinesis. It's called arch and curl. So you're going to take an arch. You're going to drop your head back. You're going to let your throat be open. Let your heart center radiate like this guy here. Imagine you're in a hammock and feel your mid back and your lower back. Feel that arcing up as you arch. You should feel a dip in your back. Just breathe. Inhale, exhale. Good. If your feet are still on the floor, press into the feet and then return your spine and your head back on top of your shoulders. And now we're going to curl. So I'll turn to the side so you can see me. I am going to bring my elbows in and I'm just going to fold down. So you're pressing with the weight of your hands. Let the hands be heavy on the head and the neck, or you can go a little lower here. Drop the chin to the chest and take a deep breath. Let this ripple into your spine, deepen into your spine. Feel that stretch in your shoulders. Feel it in your back. If you want, you can just twist here, side to side. Twist over towards the right hip. Come back to the center. Twist over to the left hip. Feel how that feels all the way in your back, your shoulder blades, your rib cage. Come back to the center. And now elevate and look up. There's so many things you can do in this very position. You can even create circles. Just create circles with this. Now the hands are resting on the shoulder. Get the kink out. Get that kink out. Get that text neck out. And reverse. You can make your circles even bigger. Inhale and then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You can reverse your circle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. And relax. Just notice the difference in your body now that you've taken a moment to right there in your chair, less than 5 minutes. Open up your body and get the tension out. Just notice. Super accessible, uninvasive. Nobody got hurt, did they? No, is anybody getting fired? Anybody lose their job? No, you didn't. You did something good for you. Now for my guys, take off your suits. Do this in your chair. You know, be careful. I know sometimes you get the sweat stains. We don't want you to go full throttle, nice and easy. Same with my women. Take your sweaters off. Take that blazer off. You know, if you're wearing a hat looking super cute, just take your accessories off for a little second. Take a look at my earrings, ladies. These are very, very light. It's all in the fabric. Same thing with your accessories. You want to make sure that this is nice and free. If you have too much weight on your, first of all, your hair, and then your earrings and your jewelry, that can weigh you down. That can also affect your breathing. That can also unmotivate you to want to be mobile because you're thinking about how you look. Make sure that if you don't do it at the office or in workplace, that you take off all your accessories and you decompress from the weight of all of that throughout your day at some point. at some point. It's very important. Even my women who wear hijabs, if you're wearing scarves, Queen Afua talks about this in her book. It's important that you take some time to have your scalp exposed. Or if you're going to get your hair done, tell your hairdresser to, maybe massage your scalp a little bit longer, go get a massage your scalp. These kinds of things will help with headaches. These kinds of things will help you from getting those tension aches, all of that stuff. Trust me, the small things turn out to be pretty severe. All right, moving right along here. Very nice. As you can see, this woman has gotten up from her chair. Again, super uninvasive. Looks like she's a teacher. Looks like she's got plenty of space. If there's a recreation room or a break room or somewhere where you can do this, you can put your hands up against a wall, a table, a chair, a bookcase. Use it. Get your stretch on. So I talked about that 30 seconds on each side. 30 seconds is all it takes with mindfulness, deep breathing, and that's the start. I encourage you to go longer. I encourage you if you can. Now, of course, you can achieve this exercise if you're wearing pants. If you're not and you have a skirt, that's okay. You can stay in your chair. You can reach for your toes. There are other things that you can do. In fact, in gyrokinesis, there's a whole sequence of exercises that we do right in the chair. So you've got to sign up for a session to experience it. We also talked about this earlier, setting an alarm every 2 hours. This could be to just close your eyes from the screen, maybe close your computer. This could be maybe engaging in conversation with other people to take your mind off of work, or listening to a Beebodi podcast, guided meditation. It could be listening to any other kind of podcast. Just take your mind off of work for a little while. Divert your attention so that you can reset, reposition yourself, and restart your activity and have a great work day. So this is WeWork. I want to talk to you about environment. As I mentioned earlier, WeWork asked me to share a workplace workshop, just like the one that you're tuning into here and now, about ways in which their employees, their staff, and people that actually reside, have their companies residing at a WeWork site, how they can engage with the environment. So they have a really, really supportive space where which, as you can see, they're socially distancing. They've got plants, they've got plenty of sunlight, they've got art on the walls, they've got splashes of color. But what you don't see in this picture that I had a great opportunity of experiencing myself is they have these pods where you can get away and just woo-saw. They even have spaces where you can roll out your yoga mat. I mean, this is the kind of environment that you want to set up for yourself. If you can't do it and it's totally inappropriate and inaccessible and corporate is just not having it, then see how you can do this at home. See how you can set this up in your office space, in your study environment. You need to carve out a physical space to remind you to do the integration for yourself, even if you're not able to do it at your actual work site. Set up spaces that inspire you, that remind you that wellness is an integral part of your life. As I'm looking, and I'm in one of 3 workspaces that I have for myself, I specifically, strategically have a shelf where I'm looking at my vitamins. I'm looking at my vitamins. This reminds me that I need to take my vitamins throughout the day. I need to prioritize it. After lunch, I need to make sure that I am taking my vitamins, because oftentimes they say, take it with a meal, right? So set your workspace up to support the kind of wellness that you need. Okay, so as I mentioned, WeWork is just one of many corporates that are leading by example. So if you're in leadership and you're able to make a difference, consider how you can make the workplace a wellness environment too, for your staff to take breaks or to feel included or to feel like it's appropriate, because it is. Include innovative designs. This could be everything from your furniture to maybe just having open space. If you have an open space, that's the kind of environment that lends itself for people to occupy it. If you've got all this clutter and things going on, sometimes it just looks like decoration. And even though the furniture is functional, it doesn't lend itself for people to just go and be sometimes. It lends itself for people to go take a coffee break, to get on their phone, to relax, but not really to be physical, not to be interactive. And that's what we want. So plants helps oxidize the environment. If you can, if you're a plant person and you like having plants, super great to have. It draws the rays of the sun closer into your workspace, draws it into you, really great for the environment, balances out all of the positive charge that comes into the environment from technology, from computer screens, from phones, you name it. You can also get a diffuser. This helps by having essential oil to diffuse the day, but also diffuse the environment. And then last but not least, B2B relationships. So connecting with Beebodi is great, and kudos to you for doing that, but also connecting to businesses that also integrate workplace wellness is a really good look for yourself, for your company, for your employees, for your staff. It's a really great step towards the 2021 new model of a workplace environment that you want to have. I guarantee you the employee retention will go up, people will be smiling. When they're able to interact and to engage in environments that are supportive and that lends itself to health and wellness, 9 times out of 10, it's the kind of space and it's the kind of environment where they will want to be. They won't resent it. So something to think about. Include it in the budget. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with leadership if you need to. Don't be afraid to be the change if you are in leadership that you need to. We've come to the end of our time. I hope that you have learned more than you thought you would, more than you thought that you could. And after this workshop, you're going to leave with some practical tips, some practical things to actually apply to your workday. Everything from taking a break from the screen, maybe even using some drops if you've got dry eyes, taking a moment for woosah, meditation, chiming in and listening in rather to a Beebodi Talks podcast episode where there are guided meditations for throughout the day, especially during the holiday seasons. That's so important. Or maybe just listening to some frequencies to get you decompressed and relaxed. Taking a walk, going in a walking meditation where you just pay attention to your environment and clear out your head. Getting your family involved in that that next step that you want to take of prioritizing your wellness. And the list goes on. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Beebodi Marketplace, where we treat, support, and invigorate our human bodies. You know where to find us: online, on social, all the places. Be sure to follow Beebodi and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss a moment. You can also click the bell for a notification each time we put out a new video, a new post, or we're going live. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself. Be well, no matter where you are. Bye.